again. It's Priscilla Batzell in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Art Studio Gallery in the backyard, and it is a warm Florida afternoon. And I have still got bunches of small bottles of colors I would like to use up. And so I'm going to put them, and I'm going to continue to put them into my iPod box and assume that I'm going to get something cool out of there. I just made up some more gold mica powder. If you like the gold that I use, it's available on my Amazon link below the video. And if you ever need a link, just ask. I think I'm going to put a bunch of black and white in there, but right now I just want some of that blue. And then I'm going to pull out my 14 by 14 inch canvas, assuming that I can get all of the paint out of the bottles that I need it out of. A nice sharp skewer and a little pressure from inside usually takes care of any issues I have. Sometimes I just feel like this is the painting and everything else is irrelevant. Hopefully I shook that. Let's not take any chances. I already have some in there. I'm not sure how much more I want. I'd like some light blue. I think this other light blue here might be a good one. This is left over from some Arteza. I'm actually trying to get my small bottles ready so I can mix up a whole big bunch of Arteza colors. And done nothing. Here comes that 14 by 14 inch canvas. And that'll happen when it happens and probably not before. So I said I was going to put some white in those colors. There's nothing in there. I want some pearl. I use an Anita's pearl. I'm just going to force that right underneath. Because I can. The name of my book. Also on the Amazon link. That just made me want some yellow. And I don't have any particular yellow. I have some orange. Oh, I do have some yellow. It's a really acidy yellow though. This is probably, hey, it even seems like it's got a marble in there. I do add marbles to my my squeeze bottles of paint. Yeah, maybe, maybe not. A little more. Maybe some of that orange in the middle of it. Yeah, I'm not sure about any of that, but I am sure that if I don't grab the white and the blue, it feels like it's time to make some more white. Time to make up another gallon of white. I did buy a 5-gallon container at Walmart a long time ago, and I think I still have a couple gallons left, which is kind of a mixed blessing at this point, because evidently Walmart's selling off their 5-gallon containers of white paint. And a friend of mine keeps letting me know. I've got glasses on my head, which is imperative for me to be able to see the difference between, yes, you guessed it, white paint on canvas and canvas. And they're still dirty from yesterday. Wow, I'm just so clever. Be good if I checked that stuff before I did this. It's warm today. I did mention that. My reasonable excuse has been that it's been cold, 50s, but not so much lately. I've got little bottles over to the side, and I see the paint wants to come out of them. Little bottles. And I think because the tubes Arteza is sending me are only tiny, that I need relatively small containers. Alright, it's warm today, so I need to get on with this, because paint in the background like this will dry quickly. That's my OXO armlet turning spatula, and I always lay claim to, I want some more paint, it being the best paint spreading tool around. I think if I clean my glasses, I'll be able to see a lot better. It's going to have to be soon, but not right this second. I kind of want to do something different, and that different thing is going to be maybe not as different as you might expect. I'm going to grab some chain. I've got a dish chain. Now I've got white paint on that chain. And I want to take some of these colors in my scoop, and I want to put them around the outside edge. And then I just want to ladle on whatever. Some of these colors were sitting out here by themselves with the bottles draining on them for way too long. So those are my background colors, and I'm going to play with them with a skewer. I sort of want things to go in the corner, and if I don't like what I see, I will for sure add some more colors on top. I wish some more of these beautiful colors would come out of these bottles. I really do. So where's that chain I just dripped in there? I just have always wanted to give myself ultimate permission right from the start to see what would happen. Now I've got paint I can tip, which I think is what's going to happen next. I'm going to put that chain down in a little lump and hope it doesn't dry too much. I'm just going to continue to observe what I've got and add to it from what I have over in the little pan and see what happens. I want an edge catcher, and an edge catcher is nothing more than a plastic piece of somewhat flexible but stiff plastic. Mine came in value packages of 16 by 20 inch canvases from Michaels. I have a selection of them. I wish I could give them to you guys. I know some of you want them. I'm gonna rock that paint color that's pooled on the side of that canvas on the edge catcher, and then I'm gonna work it down the line, and I'm gonna use it to cover the edge also. There's my edge covered, well, somewhat covered. I have no idea what I'm gonna get, but I'm gonna have fun trying to find out. I'm gonna grab a big scoop of color. I didn't intend on going in the middle. Oh well. Never mind. I'm just willy-nilly, just really not having any plan particularly, except for the fact that I have beautiful colors in my case and a will to use them. And I have tubing that I can blow things around with, exposing more colors. And I know that there are more colors to be exposed. So rather than a plan, I'm going to be spontaneous. And I have been calling my my abstract expressionist art spontaneous art lately. Somewhat, it's a combination of accidental, of course, because you can't reproduce these patterns in the paint. I have over here to your left Princeton Art Tool Catalyst spatulas, which I'm going to use to squeegee some of that paint down where I can actually use it. And what I'm thinking is that it might be cool. Yes? Yes. To just use it up. And I'm going to grab my spatula again. And some cool colors again. I wasn't initially thrilled with this corner, but it's not bothering me as much as it was. And I like that. And if I leave a little bit of paint in my case, then I've got enough to go down over my edges and cover some areas. But in the meantime, I'm going to use my spatula and do just what I said I was going to do a second ago, which is cover that edge. And then I'll probably work on the opposite side. See if I can get any more paint out of that container. I don't usually put paint along the edges of my canvas to begin with because I like to be able to tip the canvas, and having an edge to hold on to is really handy. So I threatened the tubing. This is such a random pattern. I know that it's kind of weird, but I've always wanted to give myself permission to just play with whatever random pattern was to start with, because that's a lot of times what's happening anyway. And then I rescue it. If I'm lucky, I rescue it anyway. And along the way, I often will add all kinds of things from squeeze bottles, if they'll come out. And so this is definitely me just playing. Let's grab that tubing and see what happens. There's a very strong chance at some point in time I will be ruining something that somebody likes, but this is, I've got to experiment. This is the way I do this, and I'm having a good time doing it, and I want a fresh piece of chain because I don't want those colors on there. And I'm going to put most of that chain in my hand and then just pull it. I don't want to go excessively far with it yet. I am going to let the paint that's on there sort of deposit itself. And if I don't like an area, as long as the paint stays wet, I can come back and do something else with it. I can put a little more paint down for my squeeze bottles. I like all of that down there, and I don't want to do anything to it yet. I really, really don't want to do anything to it, period. So I am going to let it run. If I want the paint in an area to move, I put more paint next to it. And this paint is not moving, so I think I'm going to do myself a favor. Whoa! Well, I didn't expect that. But I am going to use it. It's all over my fingers. It exploded right out of the bottle. That's what I get for putting a bottle upside down. Alright, I have a naked spot on my canvas right there, so that paint is perfectly conveniently located on my finger to go there. I had a moment where I wanted to put this somewhere, and then that moment disappeared. Yeah, what starts out for me as accidental art lately has become very abstract expressionist art, and I have been enjoying my processes very much. I have some really cool stuff ready to go into a show. I'm always wanting to spiral things out. And as long as the paint is wet, you got to work kind of fast, but as long as the paint is wet, you have a very, very good chance of manipulating it. Ooh, that looks totally like a dragon head. Check that out. See? His little nose, his little eye right there. Spiky stuff. Cool. I ought to pick up those paints I just dumped over. Alright, I did use up most of my paint, so that's cool. I've got pink paint, pink metallic paint, and a finger full of it, so I am going to give myself permission to do whatever comes naturally. Sometimes when there's enough white, whatever you put on it will disappear. The white will disappear your colors. I'm not going to worry too much about it because I've got squeeze bottles. I've got 4.5 minutes left. Wow, not much. I think I'm going to go back to taking advantage of the beautiful colors. And the bamboo skewer, I don't usually use the sharp end, but sometimes it's nice. If you're careful. Alright, so that's a little bit my finger, just to blend things, and I kind of like the way that looks actually. That looks like a fish with a black face and a big colorful tail. She's hallucinating! What are we gonna do? Just keep watching and hope I freak out. No, I'm kidding. I am not on drugs. Although that might be a little hard to tell sometimes. Not sure I like any of that, but it will blend itself in. I think this is just a really fun, colorful piece, and I'm not unhappy that I did this at all. And I could tip more. As long as the paint is wet, it will continue to do some strange things as far as making patterns and selling goes when you agitate it. So I feel free to agitate it. Oh, I just took my dragon's jaw away and gave it back again. Alright, so that's the invisible dragon except for his head. And we're going to leave that. Take advantage of some of that black and emphasize my spirals. I don't think I really need a whole lot else there. I'm going to wipe my skewer off. I'm going to think about whether I want to throw any more chain in there. I'm going to throw the chain I got paint on into the bucket. Oh boy, do I? Do I really want to? I think I'm going to, oh boy. I'm going to dip my chain in the black down here. Looks like my white paint in the background is already dried up a bit. So what I'm going to do about that is take some of that white pearl and cross my fingers. I want some more black. Fortunately, this black down here on the edge is deep enough. She said hopefully. Let's steal some purple instead. And there were great colors in there. Cool. I'm all good with the spirals until I drag those tendrils of dripping paint over them. And I come and go with my experience. I'm not always doing this, so I'm not learning as consistently as I would like to. I'm really thinking that this is as done as I need it to be, in spite of the fact that I just did exactly what I said I wasn't going to do. Maybe if I lift that up from the center, yes, that worked. Alright, so all I can see is I've got this beautiful purple paint over here. Oh, and a glob of something on the end of my stick. Okay. I'm going to put up with that because I want those dots. I say I'm going to put up with it, and then I can't. Oh well. I think I'm going to use the pointy end. That's my 3-minute warning. So I will tell you everything I should usually tell you, which is I have an Amazon link, and I think I already mentioned that my book, Because I Can, the first 100 videos of processes, tools, and showing the dry artworks, is on the Amazon link, along with the gold mica powder that I make my gold with. And if you need the recipe, just ask. I don't want to keep doing stuff and talking too much if I'm going to screw my painting up. I'm going to have some edges to cover after you guys are gone. But fortunately there is enough paint. So, back to the... my paint pouring recipe is in the video, description below the video. I'm going to torch to release the bubbles, maybe after I take this edge catcher away, which I hardly used. And I have Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook albums at the bottom of the description. The Facebook albums hold the wet and dry artworks from YouTube. I want some more of that purple to look better than that looks right there, and I have to do that. I just have to. Come out. I may run out of time. There's always a contest running, or at least there is until February 28th, 2019, where if you decide you'd like to contribute to help keep the studio going, and your name is drawn, you will have a chance to win one of a few, in this case, 4 paintings. Yep, I'm okay with that. I'm going to have to fix that that little join right there tomorrow. Or maybe not. Let's see what I can do. Let's just join it right up and see if I can blend it in. Make it something else. Same with that. Come on, Mark. Alright, so back to the... I give classes in my studio in Spring Hill, Florida. If you want information on that, just contact me through YouTube. I do sell my artwork. If you have an interest in my artwork, I'll give you an email address. I often tell you that I put GAC 800 by Golden in my paints so that when I want to leave them thick like this, I don't have a problem. The GAC is meant to protect the thick paint from cracking while it dries. This is just a really fun fantasy piece for me. The only thing I can see right at the moment I might want to change is put a little black in there so I can spiral it out. But otherwise the colors are great, the patterns are fun. I'm going to call this a success. As soon as I finish covering my edges, I'm good. Let me check one last time. The PayPal and Patreon links are where you can contribute to the studio in order to get into the contest. I have told you my Teespring is below the video. And if you shop my Teespring, you help me out. If you go to my Facebook pages, you will find Expressionist Art Studio Gallery Appreciation, which is a group where people who appreciate Expressionist